First sloka and then.
Yatas sarvani bhutani. Together, please. Yatas sarvani bhutani pratibhanti stitani cha yatraivopashamam yanti tasmai satyatmane namaha.
Sloka 12.
That's right. Sankalpajale galite
Sankalpajale galite
Swarupamavashishyate
Swarupamavasishyate
Mahapralaya sampattau
Mahapralaya sampattau
Asattam samupagate
Asattama samupagaye
Sankalpajale galite Swarupamavashishyate Mahapralaya sampattau Asattam samupasate.
So Sankalpa Jala Galite. So it's creation. First we went out and then come back and then look at the whole problem in a perspective. So the creation started from unmanifest and the whole creation is spread out and then again it goes back into unmanifest, just as in a daily, every day, I am waking and dream and a deep sleep state and again back to waking state and a dream. This goes on in the cycles here. Then how do I get involved in the world? It is by Sankalpa Jalam. Sankalpa Jalam means essentially like a net. I am getting caught up in the net. By contemplating, I need this, I want that, I am growing. So everything that you do in this world, it starts with some Sankalpa. Determination that I want it, I don't know, I want to do it, and so on and so forth, in one way or other. Whether you are compelled to do it or you want to do yourself comes in picture. Ultimately, your involvement as I had to do, working to do is will involve. So, Sankalpa Jale, Galiti, Swarupam Avasishyate. So, when all the web of thoughts are removed, then what remains is Swarupam Avasishyate. Your own true nature remains. So what should I do to realize my true nature? Remove all sankalpa first. Sankalpa means where a predetermined notion that I am a doer. That's one. Because anytime you say, I am making a sankalpam, aham idam karishye, say I am going to do this. I am doing so. Even if you go to a temple or ritual, that's how you start. You make a sankalpam. You tell who you are, what you are doing, where you are, what place, original. All those things you tell in terms of the time, space-wise, time-wise, all that you tell as a priest repeats on you. You tell in the language that a Brahman can understand also. And tell who you are and then what are you doing and why are you doing also. You tell. That's what the sankalpam. And same way, if you are going to office, you have already sankalpa, I have to go to office and I have to do this, I have to do that. So every action is involved in one form or other by your determination that I want to do this, I want to do this and that. That's kartrutva bhavam. Bhavam means a notion or the concept that I am a doer will bind you. So you get entangled, hey, I want to go to America to study and all that, then you are here, then you are worried about, I want to go back, my children are going and all those. You know, but a lot of people go through the process and you want to go to India, I want to go back. All this goes on and on and on and on. And where is the end of it, all this? Once you start attending, you remember, once you start attending this and try to see what is the absolute reality, then you are slowly withdrawing your mind from indulgence into activities that I am a doer, slowly, steadily, while the doing is going on. Doing, you are not stopping whatever need to be done. Therefore, you do whatever need to be done. It's called nimita karma. Whatever that has to be done will be doing, but your notion that I have to do, I am doing, that kartatva bham is slowly withdrawn in the process. You may act that I am doing, but understand that in a sense I am not really a doer. So that is how one withdraws oneself when the notion that I am a doer, even though doing can go on. And sankalpa jale galite swarupam avasishyate. If I do that, while the activity is going on, I can recognize my swarupam. That's one understanding of this. That's what we need to understand actually. Understanding is, what is from the absolute point, if everything is withdrawn from all that, and it goes into subtle state, what it is left is actually the substantive, that is the truth, that is what remains as Swarupa Lakshana of Brahman itself. So one way to know it is, I can do while everything is still going on, by understanding. From the understanding point, there is no absolute reality to the plurality. Whatever the reality that I see is only at the superficial level. Inside is nothing but, remember, like waves in the ocean, I am just the water, and from the water point there is no ocean, no wave also. Even while staying as a ocean or a wave also. So I can remain as a wave in the ocean or ocean with the waves, but I can realize that I am the water. When I realize that I am the water, any form can be me only. And that understanding can be there in spite of different names and forms. So names and forms will not be disturbing my knowledge. That's one way of knowing Swarupa Lakshana. My nature is, I am Satchidananda Swarupam, while still acting as I am only this and not that in a transactional world. That's the best way of understanding this sloka, first part. But the other way also, if one understands the total thing is nothing but Brahman from the point when all superficial things are withdrawn, then it is pure Brahman. But it will never get withdrawn. Remember, this whole cycle of birth and death and this is eternal cycle goes on. When will everything will end? Somebody asked a question, when will everything will end? I may realize, when I realize for me there is no more world, everything is, then what about the others? So it depends upon how I answer that question. What about the others? Where are the others? When I realize what? I realize that there is no others, I am the whole thing. So there is no question of others anymore, from my point. So from the realization stated, there is nothing other than him. So therefore, Swarupam is always remains from them as that. But as long as the body is there, then the perception of plurality goes out. The Vikshepa part is still there. Because Avarana is gone, Vikshepa is still there. The projection of the plurality is going on. Therefore, as long as the projection is there, then how should I realize the Swarupa Lakshanam? By recognizing that I am the very substantive for the whole thing too. So it becomes only, all these things become my glory, vibhuti. It becomes a vibhuti. A jnani sees the whole world as his own vibhuti. Either you can say Ishvara for convenience and for other people's sake, he says this is all Ishvara vibhuti. But his understanding is, it is Atma vibhuti. There is only Atma, Anatma. Everything else, Anatma, becomes a vibhuti itself. That is the final, because there is no way the whole universe will go, disappear. It will disappear only if every jiva has realized, right? But jivas, they are all adhikar, from all the way from insect, animals, all the way to human beings, all the way. There are many varieties and varieties. So that will not happen. So Mahapralayas Sampattau Asattam Asamapagaye. So when the Mahapralayam is, real Mahapralayam is when you realize. Pralayam is, remember, the cycle goes on, it goes into it, and then it's a, when is Mahapralayam? When Mahapralayam comes, when I realize that there is no Pralayam. There is no beginning nor death. That means I am Satchidananda Swarupam. That's one way. Second way, as we are going to explain also, when there is a Videha Mukti. Once I realize when I am a Jnani, even though perception of this Vikshepa is going on because there is a senses and the mind is operating, therefore plurality is still there. But when I drop the body, there's nothing else, because I'm back to as a Brahman only, nothing else. I join the Brahman. So in the question and answers period, so there was a question about the child death and when death occurs in. So I'm not trying to be insensitive to the people, yes. What I told from the Vedantic point, but at the local point, when one is affected, we have to be sympathetic, and that has to be there. That's a human value. So yes, it is a death, and it is hard thing because one you love is missed. So one has to recognize that and be sympathetic until they come out of that slowly, because this is a life cycle that goes on. So until that, one has to recuperate from that loss by turning the mind something to higher. That's the simplest way. So invoking presence of the Lord Himself into it, and that makes the problem less severe. So by Ishvara Darshanam, in that, offering to the Lord, oh Lord, this is your play, we just surrender to that. Surrender even our unhappiness also. Slowly, it takes time to recover the process itself. So Sankalpa Jale Galite Swarupam Vaasishyate Mahapralaya Sambattau Asattama Samupage. So Mahapralayam is correctly to say it is when I realize, and when these things drops out also, then that's the end of the story. So when there is no more body. This is one explanation. Other explanation is, even when Jivan Mukta also, one can think of, once I realize that I am the truth, this body is there, but I am not the body. Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati is this scriptural statement. Knower of Brahman becomes Brahman. Why? The knower of glass doesn't become glass, because glass is separate from me, whereas knower of Brahman becomes Brahman, it says. That means it is not some Brahman is I know. It is I am Brahman. That has to be knowledge. Then only Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati comes. That means I understand that I am Brahman. So when I understand that I am Brahman, Mahapralayam has happened. Because I am Brahman, there is nothing else. In Brahman there are no distinctions of Sajati, Vijati, Swagata Vedas. That means it is completely, all sankalpas, everything is only at the Vyavaharika state, I am absolute Brahman, and in me nothing of this. It is just like recognizing I am the water in all, whether it's an ocean or this one. So all other names and all that didn't mean anything. I am just water in that form, in this form, in the form, whenever it is a form, I am just water. That recognition itself becomes a pralayam. But if you really want, then you say, okay, you drop the body also, then there is no, the Vikshepa is also will not be there, then it is pure Satchidananda Swarupam only, that Jnani becomes, that called Videha Bhakti. Okay.
Ashesha Drishya Sargadau
Asesha Durga
Shantameva Vashishyate Astenastamito Bhaswan Paramatma Maheshwarah Ashesha Drishya Sargadau Shantameva Vashishyate Astenastamito Bhaswan Paramatma Maheshwarah.
So this, looking at the whole process in perspective, he says, from the beginning everything was in the subtle form, so that there is no distinctions of any kind at that place. And then creation started. So I myself became many, remember, I become he, all that. So the duality started, and the duality again went into, when it goes into the kalpam, it goes back into it. So in either two ends of it, before the creation or after the creation, what remains is only I am as without anything else. Everything is in the subtle form only. So that Asesha Drusya Sargado Shantameva. So if I understand I am that Sachidananda Swarupam, all this is only drama that is happening, then whether there is a drama is there, whether the drama is not there, I am always Shantam. Shantam Shivam Advaitam Chaturtham Manyante Sa Atma Sa Vigneya Anta Pragyam Na Bahir Pragyam Na Ubhayata Pragyam Na Pragyana Ghanam. All this is the mantra 7 of Mandukya Upanishad. Says, after analyzing the three states of consciousness, says, I am neither a waker, nor a dreamer, not in between. Somebody is snoozing all that. Not in between, neither a jnani nor ajnani, nor none of this of that. What do I am? Says, Sarvopasham, everything goes into me. Says, Ekatma, say one, I am one without any all the distinctions and all that. So in that, it becomes Shantam, Shivam, Advaitam, Chaturtham, and people call me the fourth, because there is a waking state, a dream state, and a deep sleep state. And who is that I am? It is none of these three states, and people call it the fourth state. There is no fourth state. It is my state which transforms all these states. I am there, but I am none of these states. I am beyond all these things. And that recognition is, states don't disturb me anymore. Whether a waking state or a dream state or a waking world or a dream world or a deep sleep state. I am unperturbed, Shantam Shivam. Shivam is the auspicious, and that is so auspicious, so sacred, because everything is sacred only because of that only. We attribute that this is sacred, that is sacred, because consciousness is beaming through. And that's why Lord is also sacred. Why? Because He is the light of consciousness. Sasya Bhasa Sarvamidam Vibhati. That's what we chant. Because of your light only, everything is being illumined. So you are the light of all lights. Jyotir Jyotihi, Swayam Jyotihi. So He is all lights of all lights. Because even the light I can see because of that light only. Remember I just now said, I know I can see darkness. In what light I can see darkness? I don't need normal light to see darkness. If I turn normal light, there is no darkness. So, in what light I see darkness? That is the light that illumines even darkness also. So, it is not opposite to darkness. And that's the light which illumines even the ignorance also. Because I am ignorant, in what light? Because I am conscious that I am ignorant. That means consciousness is beaming that I am ignorant. That is also being illumined. Now I am a jnani. That's also being illumined. But am I a jnani or a ajnani? I am neither jnani nor ajnani. I am pure Sachidananda Swarupam that pervades. So even jnanam, ajnanam is only in the vyavahara only, transactional reality only. That need to understand. But when I understand I am the absolute truth, all these things will go. Means even if they are not, I am unperturbed, deep down like a motion, there are no waves underneath, right? It is calm, quiet time. If I understand that is Asesha, Drusya Sargada, all these creations that endless creation comes to an end once I recognize I am that absolute. Shantameva avasishyati. So asti anastamito bhaswan paramatma maheshwaraha. Either I can say I am Paramatma, I can say I am Jivatma, I can say Jagat, I am neither one of any of those things also. I can identify with anything knowing that I am only playing that role in all those things too. So Paramatma Maheshwara, I am that which shines and illumines the whole universe also, I can say. And that is also not different also.
Vidyate hridaya grantihi
Vidyate hrudaya grandhihi
chidyante sarva samshayaha
jante sarva
क्षीयन्ते चास्य कर्माणि
क्रियन्ते चास्य कर्माणि
तस्मिन् दृष्टे परावरे.
tasmin drishte paravare. So what happened? This sloka is from Mundaka Upanishad. Okay? Swamiji took the text here. So that text, that sloka, it's literally taken out and put in here. So, and what it says, Bidyanti Hrudaya Grandhi, the knots that are tying down my Hrudayam, the heart, Bidyanti, essentially they are being cut. I didn't know there are knots in my heart. When I go to doctor to check whether there are any knots in my heart, and I can't find anything. Okay, so it is not what kind of knots in the heart. So the heart is essentially not the physical heart. Heart means my individuality. That's the heart of myself. There's a heart of a problem. Means the essence of myself. So myself is what? I myself tying down myself with all these things right now. All that is Chidyante is getting cut under. So essentially, what are the knots? There are 3 knots that are being discussed. Is Jiva Jagat Ishwaraha. So it's a notion that I am a Jiva, this is a Jagat, and because I didn't create this world, I brought Ishvara to create this world. Who brought Ishvara? Somebody don't believe Ishvara. Somebody will say, I don't believe in God. So who brought this world? Oh, the scientist said, no, it's the natural laws of God. Who brought natural laws? Don't ask me those questions. I don't know. Because any of this cannot be explained correctly. No explanation can be really absolutely varied. We have actually, in Vedanta, there are 83 theories of creation. 83 theories of creation. So you say, what is right? How can there have 83 theories of creation? It depends upon who is asking the question, teacher answered. Depending on his background, he answered this question. Knowing where, ultimately if there are 80 theories, there is none of the theories is correct because this theory may contradict that theory may contradict this theory. So the actual truth is there is no creation, so how can you explain anything? So since he is seeing creation, you give a cock and bull story for him to say this is how creation started. So that he will be happy and then he can go next step. The idea is to see absolute reality where there is no creation. That has to be understood. But if you say, how can there be creation? If I say creation, how can I answer you, ask you question even? Because you are there, I am there, different from me. So all these questions will come at an early age to initial steps. Therefore, one has to satisfy to give depending upon the nature of the student. So if I say scientific student says, I don't believe, a rational intellect says, I don't believe that there is a God. Okay, tell me how did creation started? So he has a big bang. Then ask how did it bang? He has a problem. Because he has to invoke some laws to bang. Laws of banging has to be there. So who created those laws? Oh, that is there. Okay, then if that is there, God is also there. Because he is stopping his buck at that place and we have to clap somewhere else. So the problem comes into picture. There is no absolute law that can explain what it is. So even the Vedanta recognizes this problem and says that's why, actually because there is no creation. I myself became many because I see myself in different points. Why do you become? Because it's a game. I want to play, I just want to become. Why not? Because I can become. That's why I became. Why gold became into many ornaments? Because it's ductile enough. It has a property that it can become and people wanted in different forms, so it became. I asked we used to have a cat. Now it's not that it's called, we used to call her Lollipop. I don't know how the name came. So that cat, she was playing when you give some blood, it was playing, small cat. So when you throw the ball, it goes and catches, and then again it kicks the ball, and then it goes and catches. So when I asked cat, why are you playing all this? It just meow, it said. That means Maya. You cannot, what explanation you can give? What is the cat? Cat doesn't have a logic to play. There's no logic needed to play. It's natural for it to play. So because I can become many, I became many. In what way I become many? Whatever that required, I wanted to become this way because in this vasana of this jiva, this is the way it wants, so I became that way. So all these explanations are only at the level of where people are looking at the plurality and asking the question, but if you transcend this whole polarity itself is mithya, it's only appearance, but what is the substantive of the whole thing, then all these questions will subside down too. So, Vidyante Hridaya Grandhi, the knots that I think I am this and this is not me, all this Jivatma Bhava and therefore Jagat Bhava and therefore Paramatma Bhava. So Jiva Jiva Bhinnatvam, Jiva Jagat Bhinnatvam, Ishvara Jiva Paramatma Bhinnatvam, all differences of all kinds come into picture because I have a notion that I am only a little fellow entity here. That is what the bondage is. So, the Vidyate Hridaya Grandhi, when this is broken, this is all nothing but I am only, or I am is not this body mind. I am as existent consciousness only. And that becomes, whether it is in the form of Ishvara, or in the form of a Jagat, or in the form of a Jiva, Jiva, Jagat, Ishvara, all become substantive of one undifferentiated, that which is existence itself, from which the scripture itself says, from there the whole thing came. And that becomes Vidyati Hridaya Grandhi. Chidyate Sarva Samshayaha. There is no more doubts left because doubt is in the mind. And the mind is resolved where that's called is mananam. This is Shravanam and Mananam. Mananam is, how can that be possible? So when you go and think about it, scripture is logical. It tells you why it cannot be. Why can the other way around? It provides you proper logic to remove all the doubts. So when I understand is complete, no doubt should be there, even when you meet Dvaitins. Because they will ask all sorts of questions. So that firm abidance in correct knowledge has to be there, irrespective of what questions are raised, because I know I am. That clear understanding is what is Advaita is. And that is Sarva Samshayaha. All doubts gets resolved with that. Shriyanti cha asya karmani. The karmani, there are 2-3 types of karmas that we have discussed. One is, karma is nothing but the implications here, the impressions because of the karma. It's called vasanas. And there are sanchita karma, there is a prarabdha karma, there is a agami karma. These are 3 karmas. Sanchita karma is a total account of which I brought into this world. Of that only some amount I brought it. So leaving the rest of the balance there. And that which is called prarabdha karma. And when I have a capacity to perform an egotistical action, I am accumulating new karmas, that's called agami. Whether I can exhaust in this life or putting into my account. So whatever I experience in this life is because of my karma. No one can escape that. That's why we call it, I don't know if you know, Chitragupta. Chitragupta is an account keeper of all our karmas. And Chitragupta means his code is very, very, Chitra means is very magical. You cannot even, break those codes. So he writes, Bakal, this is a story form, right? Chitragupta makes an account of all the things. And it is hidden. Chitra means is Godam, you cannot uncode. All our karmas are recorded like that. That's a total balance. And you remember just now in the slokas, you have to remove all the vasanas, then only you realize. It was sloka there, right, also, right? I am going to remove all that big karmas of billions of lives that I have done. What am I going to do? When am I going to remove all that? If you ask that question, Bhagavan Ramanuja says very, very beautifully. He says, all that is like a cotton mountain, big mountain. All you need is a small matchstick to burn the whole thing. Whole thing collapses. Why? Because if you look at the logic, it's not illogical. You don't think that this is just, he gave some cock and bull stories. No, this is the truth. Why? Because the vasanas belong to person who has done the work. The kartrutva bhavam is there. So when I have no more notion that I am even not a doer, When I understand that I am never a doer, not only now, even the past also I am not a doer. Prakrutyeva karmani. That's what Krishna is teaching. If I understood correctly, that is Prakriti was doing. Why should I be responsible for it? So it is like a dead letter office. A dead letter office, there is no more person accountable for it. Where does it go? It goes into some dead letter. So where does all those karmas will go to whom? Addressee not found. He is disappeared suddenly because he realized that he is never a doer. That's what jnanam means. Now where does that go? Here the punyam and papam also, both punyam and papam. The truth is, it goes to the person who criticizes him, all the papa will go there. And the one who surrenders to him, all the punyas will go in. Okay? Because everything is accountable. So a fellow who can even accuse a Mahatma, he deserves all that. Right? All the papa. And the fellow who surrenders to him, the benefits of his good karma also. So even though I may have misbehaved in the past, once I surrender to that, he takes care of it. Okay? So I don't have to worry about the past, all that sanchita karma. Okay? Once I realize, I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to worry about the future also, because I'm never a doer. However, prarabdha karma will be there. Why? Because the body, mind, the intellect that I have is a product of that. Because I came in this world with the body and mind and intellect. That's one aspect. So as long as the body, mind, intellect is there, and it will be there as long as the prarabdha karma is there, even though one is a jnani, he has to go through all that prarabdha. He doesn't go through. Remember, he already realized that I am never a doer. You have to understand that. But prarabdha karma has to belong. It belongs to the body, mind, intellect. So the body, mind, intellect goes through the prarabdha karma, even though he watches, because he is a witnessing consciousness. I am a witness watching my body getting deteriorated. So Ramakrishna Paramahamsa had a throat cancer. And Ramana Maharshi, they had amputated the hand. All those things, Swami Chinmayanji had a diabetic problem was there, heart problem was there. But the problems belong to the prarabdha body. So a recognition of that is separate from the body. The prarabdha will go on. So what should jnani will do? He says, let it come. It will go. That's a part of the property of the body, mind and intellect. Because that's a prakriti. And therefore it will go on, but at the same time, he has a recognition, I am not that. I am pure consciousness that is supporting that. They're all mithya only. That understanding makes impervious to all these problems also. So here, sarva chiyantis cha asya karmani. Asya karmani is both the sanchita karma and the agami karma will disappear. Only what remains is prarabdham, and even that he doesn't get involved in it. He just comes and goes. And whatever comes, he accepts it is the part of prarabdha. Whatever the prarabdha, it will be different for each jnani. It comes as it comes. It's the same thing, let it go. It will go also. So that is tasmin drushte parate. How does that disappear? Nothing disappears. Tasmin drushte, by looking at him, he disappears. In the case of jnani, recognizing that I am the totality, everything is not experienced as I am experiencing. Everything is experienced as a witness of that thing that is going on. That should be attitude. This sloka is from Mundakopanishad itself. Yeah, go ahead.
Drinanyanaikanishthānam Atmajnana vicharinam Sajivan muktato deti Videhon muktataiva ya नृणान्यानैकनिष्ठानाम् आत्मज्ञानविचारिणां सा जीवन्मुक्ततो देति विदेहोन्मुक्ततैव या.
Now this is a chapter, last chapter that we are going to do. And here we are going to talk about the Jivan Mukta. What is the nature of one who has realized while living? How does one realize, and what is the nature of that individual who has understood that I am not the individual? Okay. So here, Nunam, Jnana Ekanishtanam, the one who has Ekanishtha, a firm abidance that one is that ultimately is, as a jnanam itself is my goal in life itself. So Atma Jnana Vicharinam. So one who has inquired into nature of the self as this is the highest, and for him the jnanam will arise. So how does it arise? So here is the way different Mahatmas have described that process. When I turn my attention to that, Swamiji calls it, this mind and intellect are the two wings of the bird. As the two wings of the bird, when I take the higher flight in that direction, I reach somehow. So what is somehow? What is the reach? So in the science also we call it intuition. Now anybody can explain what intuition really means? Everybody will have intuitively know what intuition is. Right? But what exactly is intuition? All words come out. Intuition is when the mind, but this is why Chandrasekhar, I think, in Nobel laureate Chandrasekhar, he mentions in the Scientific American that all the discoveries are made by intuition. That's his statement. So what exactly is intuition? Intuition is when the mind, intellect, together contemplating on that, whatever that they are contemplating on. A scientist will contemplating on an objective problem, some problem, they are deeply involved in that, and suddenly they develop intuition to know what exactly that is. That's called breakthrough. They get a breakthrough because the Saraswati of that knowledge reveals herself to him. When they are deeply thinking in that direction, in the properly, using proper tools, proper methodology of inquiry. So truth gets revealed. It's the same thing. When in that direction I am thinking both the mind and intellect together, contemplating on the nature of the reality, suddenly I realize, hey, that's me. So understanding comes not only as a thought process, as a realization himself. As that is the truth that I see. How exactly that is? So you have to do yourself. So there is one gentleman who had eye problem. So this gentleman, says he went to different doctors, ophthalmologists, varieties, and everybody said this is the problem, that is the problem. Everybody tried to solve the problem, but his problem is still he cannot see. All operations, all sorts of operations are done, but he cannot see. So he almost like give up. Suddenly somebody said, there is a famous ophthalmologist who can really lot of problems have been solved, and he is the best help you can get, go to him. So he was not reluctant because he has gone so many of them already. But anyway, under pressure from his family or something, he went there. So after doctor examined, he says, yes, this problem can be solved. This is a rare case, but I can solve this problem. I have to do some operation. So okay, we went through all that. Operation has been done. And then doctor comes, remove the bandage and says, sir, please open your eyes. No, I don't want to open my eyes. Why? You have to give me guarantee that I am going to see. Then only I will open my eyes. Sir, operation has been done, so you have to open your eyes to see. No, lot of doctors told me that all this but never happened. So you have to first give me guarantee that I am going to see, then only I am going to have. What is the doctor going to do? All I can say is operation has been successful as far as we can tell. Now you have to open it and prove whether it has been successful or not. Now why did I tell that story? All the statements are being made. Scripture says you have to go in the path. Now how is it going to happen? You have to find out. You have to open your eyes in order to see. Scriptures cannot do anything more. All it can say is you have to proceed in that direction, and Scripture says as an ophthalmologist, operation is being done correctly if you follow the path, but you have to open your eyes in that direction to see. There is no other way of knowing this. Nobody can tell you anything. Now you are realizing nobody can say anything about anybody else. You have to know what you are. So that has to be done by your own self. So Vedanta is only science, but you have to prove the correctness of that by your own experimentation. There is no shortcuts here. Okay, whether Vedanta works or not, whether operation worked or not, you have to prove by opening your eyes. That's called Jnana Chakshu. What you call intuition is called Jnana Chakshu. The wisdom eye has to be opened. That's why Shiva has the third eye. Third eye is a chakshu for jnanam, because when you open with the eye, all other things get burned. All the unnecessary things get burned away in the fire of knowledge. That's called fire of knowledge. And that Jnana Chakshu has to be opened by proper inquiry. So vichara becomes important, and that becomes the means of knowledge. So how does knowledge arise? Ramana Maharshi gives a beautiful example. Because these are the recent Mahatmas. This is aham taya spurati hrutsvayam parama purna sat. See, in this, as you contemplate on it, I am, aham taya, means I am, spontaneously rises in your heart. Spurati, swayam, in the heart. Swayam spurati, spontaneously raising by itself. That I am also in the morning, especially I am getting up, I am late, I am is getting spontaneously from the morning, all right. How is it that different? This I am different from that I am. Because this I am is egotistical I am, so I am this. Ego is nothing but I am this is the ego. Ego definition is I am equal to this. That's the ego. If you drop this, then I am only left behind. So what else I can say to I am without any this? All I can say I am. Because any add, it becomes an object. I am a subject, I cannot be an object. So I cannot any qualification to further to I am to qualify that, because I am qualified. I don't have any qualification. Nirgunaha. Qualification means I don't have, because it cannot be, any qualification is only for finite objects. So I am nirgunaha means I am without any attributes. Because I am infinite. Only infinite cannot have attributes. Only finite things can have attributes. So therefore, all I can say is I am. Say, please introduce yourself. How do you say I am? So and so, so and so. This only you can introduce. But this I am, you cannot introduce any way other than I will say I am. End of the story. Because anything you add is unnecessary. That's not, I am not that. So, Ramana Maharshi says, aham taya spurati hrutsvayam. So that spontaneously raises in every perception. In every perception, every knowledge, I am there. And I shifted my attention from what I perceive to I am already in my knowledge. So I am in everything that I see, in everything I transact with, aham spurati, spontaneously. And that aham is different from other aham that I am taking myself as I am this with the qualification. It is unqualified, unqualifiable also. That I am is paramam purnam sat swarupam. It is paramam, means it is supreme. There is nothing beyond that. If there is something beyond that, then I am conscious of that which is still limited. Because I am has to be there before that. So, therefore, that I am is Paramam, supreme, and Purnam, it is unlimited because I am is Sat and Chit, which has to be infinite. Existence and consciousness have to be infinite. Therefore, there is nothing other than that. It is Purnam. It is full, infinite. Paramam, Purnam, and Sat Swarupam. And Sattaya Chit, Chittaya Yaham. That Sat is nothing but Chit, and Chit is that I am. So that is how he puts that same knowledge intact. That spontaneously rises. How it rises? For that only you have to open your eyes after the operation. Remember? That is after Vedanta Vichara, it is Atma Jnana Vicharinam, the one who inquires into this in terms of what is the nature of the self that I am, and Sa Jivan Muktaha Udeti. So that Muktaha Udeti, that in rise of that I am the Jivan Mukta, I am the one realized while living itself, says, and Videha Unmuktata Evasa. Says, then also Videha Mukti. Here is a very peculiar statement here. Says, I become Jivan Mukta and also Videha Mukta also. Normally what they say is, first you live as Jivan Mukta, and when you drop this body, then become a Videha Mukta. But here is a very peculiar statement, says, as I become Jivan Mukta, I become Videha Mukta also. How? Because I have recognized I am not this Deham. I am not this body anymore. So already Videham. It means I have given up this body as my body. The body is part of the Prakriti only. I am using it. Because somebody borrowed cars and then we can use the car, right? As long as we can use it, we know that is somebody's car, it's not mine. But at the same time, I can use for transactional purpose from go place to A to place B. I need some car. So if I recognize that, even though I drop it, I don't have to literally drop it. Understanding wise, I can drop it. So even Jivan Mukta can consider himself as a Videha Mukta because he doesn't have any body to say, I am that body. So here, so Sa Jivan Muktata and Udeti, so Videha Unmuktata Eva, says the bodiless supreme liberation is also he achieved simultaneously from the point. From the other people point, they call him as a Jivan Mukta because he is there. Now in the karma, when I said Vijjati, when all the karmas are go, there are two things that sustain the jnani. One is his own prarabdha karma. Also, samishti prarabdha karma keeps him also here. You will know that. In the sense that we need a teacher. We need that kind of teacher who can teach to us in the language that we can understand. Or in the case of some logical requirements or the English language or whatever we can understand. To understand Sanskrit, we need a tongue who can teach us in English, and we are more rational intellects. We need somebody who can explain to us very rationally so that otherwise we don't agree. We are rationalists. So we need a kind of teacher that is conducive for our needs. So if there is a teacher, what is the statement says? Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. A knower of Brahman became Brahman or becomes Brahman. So from then on, he is Brahman only. If he has known Brahman, that means he understood I am Brahman. So what is now? The Brahman is operating now in that body. Right? Because he has become Brahman. Therefore, it is the Brahman that is operating in the particular equipments. Therefore, we call it, this is Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwaraha. He is the creator, he is a sustainer, he is an annihilator, everything also him only. That reverential attitude comes only because we realize that he is a jnani. And what is in North India, they call Maharaj, right? Everybody else is poor fellow. But this man with the Kaupinam is called Maharaj. Why? Because he is the greatest king. And he is respected more than. And the king is only respected in their kingdom. So they say, Pujyate Raja. Vidwan Sarvatra Pujyate, right? So only in our country, the Raja is respected. Whereas the Vidwan is respected anywhere, everywhere in the universe. And he has essentially realized that I am that. So he is Brahman himself walking in that form. So Samishti Vasanas can be keeping him because we need that kind of teacher. And what does Brahman think? Okay, these people are ready. Why should I take another avatara to teach? Because it's ready available, body is there, mind is there, intellect is there, ready available. Why not I use this one to do purpose of those other karmas? So Brahman himself is taking the role of a teacher because Brahman, he has already realized Brahman. So Brahman himself teaching the role of a teacher, going around and teaching to those who are conducive to listen to him. Okay? So that's also is implied in terms of pulling down what exactly keeps him into that. Then when he realized that there are enough teachers now to teach that he doesn't have to be there, then he can leave. It's just a side note. Okay, go ahead.
Nodeti nastamayeti Sukhe dukkhe mukha prabha
Sukhe dukkhe mukha prabha
Yata praptastitir yasya
Yatha prapta stitir yasya
Sajivan mukta uchyate
Sadi mukcha uchyati
Nodeti nastamayati Sukhe dukkhe mukha prabha Yata praptastitir yasya Sajivan mukta uchyate.
So just now there was a question about the consciousness, the beginning of a consciousness. Consciousness can end and all that. Here is the answer here. It says, na udeti na astameti. Neither there is a beginning nor an end. Because if there is a beginning, it becomes, remember, that has to have an end. But this is a beginningless, endless, because I am consciousness and existence itself. That conscious entity cannot have a beginning because I should be conscious of the beginning of consciousness if there is a beginning. So that will be na udeti na astam ayati. And also sukhe dukkhe mukha prabha. He will be shining, ever shining, whether it's a sukham or dukkham. So there is a sloka in the Bhagavad Gita also. Sita prajna lakshana dukkheshu anudvignamanaha sukheshu vigataspruha vitaraga bhayakroda sthitadhir muniruchyate. Since Krishna gives you what are the symptoms of a jnani. By the way, these symptoms or these explanations is only to evaluate yourself, not to go and test, hey, he's a jnani, he's not a jnani, he passes this test, he passes that test, he's getting agitated, how can he be jnani? All that is not meant for evaluating other people. It's only to evaluation yourself is, am I seeing this, what exactly is being pointed out for your, and nobody I can put, nobody can evaluate whether is a jnani or not. Okay, because it's a mental state, understanding of the mental state. All I can understand from his actions if I can interpret properly. Because he also acting, he also eats, he also sleeps, he also gets angry, he also gets all those things he will get because he has to express all those things. He gets angry but he's not angry. Anger doesn't get him. That's all difference is. So the difference is he only knows. Okay, so this is meant, all these things meant for our own evolution and where I am in this process. So navodeti nastam ayati, sukhe dukkhe, whether it's a sukham or dukkham, I'm not getting carried away with them. What happens when the sukham comes and I say he doesn't like sukham? If it is very hot, he doesn't like air conditioning, you better put air conditioning there. If it's too hot, we say, right now temperatures in Madras is around 45 or something C. So if it's too hot, you better go into the air conditioned room. Oh, he's a jnani, he's not a deham, that is nonsensical study. Because his understanding is different, The body problems has to be body problems, and he's just because he's a gunny, he's not going to put finger into the fire and say, let's see, it's burned. Say, I am not body, let it burn. No. It has to be because all the other things have to go as normal as they are. The possibility, all the process. That's why Krishna says, Dukkheshu anudvignamanaha. When sorrow comes, he doesn't get overwhelmed by it and then keep crying all over, hey, I'm this problem, this problem. He doesn't go over on crying at it. Yes, problem came, what to do? You have to go through the prarabdham. So prarabdham is accepted as a prasada buddhi. Remember prasada buddhi, when you go in temple, we give prasadam. And then when you give prasadam, you don't ask, hey, this is a bitter prasadam, I don't like it. I like only sweet prasadam. When you say prasadam is given, is offered from the Lord, you accept it with a reverential attitude because it's coming from the Lord. So everything prarabdham is a result of actions, and he is the one who is giving the results of all the actions that are done already. There is nothing you can do. So he goes through that process. There is one, what is that philosophy? In Japan they have philosophy, right? I don't remember. But anyway, this Mahatma was giving talks and all that, and a lot of people, satsang is going on, and suddenly the neighbor fellow came, and when satsang he stopped, he says, how dare you do this, what kind of person you are? And says, what's the problem? He says, you said my daughter has become pregnant, and she said you are the responsible for it. This man said, oh, I see. Is that so? That's all he said. Is that so? Then everybody, all this, we said, this fellow is a hypocrite, everybody. So everybody left him. Because this daughter said this, because he has become pregnant, and she found out this fellow doesn't say anything, so let me put a blame on him or something. So she said, this fellow is responsible. And the father came, gave him all galleys, he gave him left and right. And when the baby is born, he brought the baby, he said, this is your baby, take care of it. So, is that so? So, he took care of the boy. Then after a few years or something, then the baby was growing and he was taking care as it came, whatever need to be done. Then the neighbor girl realized that, didn't want to continue. She told father, he is not really father, somebody else was the father. And this fellow comes, oh, I'm so sorry, I unnecessarily accuse you, I'm very, very sorry. It's not, my daughter told, you are not the really father, somebody else is the father. Oh, is that so? Okay, take the baby. Now what happened? Why did this happen? Now should this fellow ask, say, what should I do? Unnecessarily I've been putting into all these things. Right? People complain, we don't deserve this, we got this. Because according to our Vedanta, nobody gets anything undeserved. That's a law. Because God is not a sadistic God to give you something that you don't deserve it, whether it's a good or bad. Therefore, whatever I get is because of past prarabdha which I forgot, whatever. Not in this life, maybe previous lives. I don't know. So, what can I do about it? Just accept as a prasada. Go through life because I am glad that is getting over. That's all. You should be happy that past karma is also getting over. In that way, you can only accept it. After all, Krishna is what? Brother-in-law of whom? All these Pandavas. Did it stop from them getting kicked out of the kingdom for 12 years and living incognito for 1 year? What a miserable life they lived. Even though they are emperors and that. That's the prarabdha. Krishna didn't stop them. Krishna could have stopped. He could have gone and stopped it. He didn't do it because they have to go through it. So, even God will not stop that one. When the prarabdha is there, it has to take whatever that comes. Dukkheshu anudvignamanaha. Even when the serious sorrows come, I will not be perturbed. I will go along with the people. Not that I am insensitive to people. When there is somebody's sorrow, I express my sympathies to them. Don't say, oh, this is all Lord, there is nothing really and all. You don't give Vedanta there. So you have to be sympathetic to people. At the same time, when they are ready to listen to something, then you have to give him higher lesson. So, dukkeshu anudvignamanaha sukeshu vigataspraha. You don't get fever by having sukham. Vigataspraha means essentially you don't get unnecessarily agitated. Whether good or bad comes, just enjoy whatever that comes as. And here the same thing says, yadha praptaha sthitihi. So he himself is unperturbed, whatever that comes and all, he is essentially sukham dukkham becomes of unimportant, because they are coming, whatever that comes has to go. Jatasya dhruva, which means whatever has a birth has to have an end. So whenever something is coming, when dukkham is coming, okay, you are coming here, come. This fellow, they think that this fellow is useless fellow. Otherwise, everybody is crying and I can be happy, but this fellow is not even bothered about when I come. That's what dukkham thinks. So it leaves immediately. There's no point in staying with this fellow. So that is what a Mahatma is. That's what I told as FIR reduction. Remember? The frequency, the intensity and recovery becomes there. He also will get disturbed, he also get agitated, but the process of that intensity is not there. It slowly goes down as. So, Saha Jivan Mukta Uchite. He is the one, is called Jivan Mukta. Okay.
Yojagarti Shushuptastaha
Yojagarti Sushuptastaha
Yasya Jagranna Vidyate Yasya Nirvasano Bodhaha Sajivan Mukta Uchyate Yo Jagarti Sushuptistaha Yasya Jagranna Vidyate Yasya Nirvasano Bodhaha Sajivan Mukta Uchyate.
So, Saha Jivan Mukta Uchyate. He is called Jivan Mukta. So, who is called Jivan Mukta? Here is some qualifications here. So, very funny here. Yaha Jagarti Sushuptistaha Yasya Jagran Navidyate. So, Yaha Jagarti, he's awake all the time. Sushupta, even in the deep sleep state. It's funny. So, there is a sloka in Bhagavad Gita, so, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam Tasya Jagarti Samyami Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani Sa Nisha Pasyato Mune. This is a sloka in the exactly identical, similar sloka in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says about Jivan Mukta. Says when even he is awake in the deep sleep state. So how can that be? The question was asked, how does a Jnani sleep, how does Ajnani sleeps? Jnani sleeps as Ajnani, Ajnani sleeps as Ajnani. That's all. What is the difference? The difference is, say, Ajnani also says, I didn't have good sleep. I didn't have good sleep. So when you ask Swami, did you have good sleep? No, I didn't have. So when did you get up? I didn't have sleep. What is there to get up? If I didn't sleep, how can? Only one who gets up is the one who slept. That's number one, right? So there's no point in asking when did you get up when you didn't have even sleep. I never slept to get up. In the Advaita Makaranda, we took Advaita Makaranda a couple of years ago here. So he says, this consciousness, the witnessing consciousness that I am, never sleeps. Why? Because it says, Yaha Jagarti Sushuptistaha Yasya Jagran Avidyate. So, Yaha Jagarti, who is awake in Sushuptistaha, in the deep sleep state also is awake. Because when I say I am existent consciousness, when I realize that I am, I can never sleep because I am there all the time. When I am there in the waking state, I am there in the dream state, I am there in the deep sleep state also, because I say I slept well because I was there to sleep well. That means I was there in the deep sleep state also. So what I am conscious of is different, but I am consciousness is not changed. We should know the difference. What I am conscious of are objects. I am conscious of this, I am conscious of that, I am conscious of that. Because there are no objects there I can see. Therefore, there is no conscious of in the deep sleep state. But I am consciousness is there. I am consciousness and existent entity in the deep sleep state. So how do you know? Wake him up, he will tell you. When he wakes up, he already got up, right? So you cannot enter into that state. So he is the one who is awake even when it is deep sleep state. Then what is his deep sleep state different from the others? Other Ajnani. Ajnani is also sleeping and Jnani is also sleeping, right? Maybe in the same room or next room. So when Ajnani sleeps, he sleeps as Ajnani only. That means he sleeps where the mind and intellect, which doesn't have a knowledge that I am a Jnani, it's all only has I am a Jnani knowledge, it is folded in that state and pure existent consciousness is only there. Whereas Jnani, the mind, that intellect that knows that I am Jnani, that mind is folded, but I am pure consciousness existence that remains all the time. It never says naudeti na astameti, neither a beginning nor an end. That is eternally present. That's why it's called nityam. And that never sleeps also, because it never, therefore it doesn't wake up also. Waking up question only comes only for the one who has slept. So therefore, since the whole concept of these three states of consciousness is only for a jiva, but from the point of pure consciousness, there is neither a waking state, nor a dream state, nor a deep sleep state. So for other people, they say, Yanisha sarvabhutanam tasya jagrati samyami. When all other people are sleeping, I am awake, he is awake. Not that he has a different time. During daytime people sleep and wake. Night time he works. It's not like that he's in a different shift. No. He is a guy who understood that I never slept. Therefore, even when other people are sleeping, he's awake. That's what Yanisha sarvabhutanam tasya jagrati samyami. He's awake when everybody is sleeping. But what about the other one? When everybody got up, he's asleep. How do you explain that one? That's what Krishna said, right? This is not in this sloka, that's in the Bhagavad Gita. So, yasyam jagrati nitani sanisha pasyato muni. The one who recognized that, remember the way Krishna puts in a very beautiful way, sanisha pasyate muni, that who sees that he is sleeping when other people are awake. Who is seeing? That he sees. That means he is not really asleep. Follow? The way wording is. So, what implication is a jnani, when everybody is awake, to that vyavaharika satyam, he is asleep. That means he doesn't go into the attachments and all that. He only sees the waves. And when I recognize that I am a water, whether it's in the wave form and a ocean form, I am just water. Water doesn't see a wave or a ocean. Water sees as water only. So that should be the understanding. Therefore, because even though he is asleep to the waking world when everybody is awake, he is seeing that also. That means he is waking enough to see that, which means he understood that this is not the real, the waking world is not real. That understanding is there with the jnana. What time we are supposed to stop? 3:20? 3:20, right? Okay, let's do one more.
Ragadveshabhayadinam anurupam charannapi yontarvyomavadatyaccha tarvyomavadatyaccha sajivan mukta uchyate.
Sajivan mukta uchyate
ragadveshabhayadinam anurupam charannapi yontarvyomavadatyaccha sajivan mukta uchyate.
So here is an interesting sloka of how a Jivan Mukta operates. That's what the question of Arjuna also. This is what is exactly his bhasha, what is his language, how does he communicate, how does he do, that's what is asking Krishna. And here an explanation is given, and this has to be clear because a lot of people have a notion about how a jnani is going to behave. Because we understood, because we behave like that, we expect God, he doesn't do that way. So here, raga dvesha bhayadi nam anurupam charannapi. So all raga dvesha means all emotions that we can, bhayam, everything else is as though he operates. Anurupam, accordingly, according to the circumstance, those emotions are expressed. Whether it's anger or all emotions that you can think of, all those things are expressed under control though. The difference is he is expressing. Whereas when we get angry, we lose ourselves. He gets angry, he uses anger that is required, just as the parent, mother uses anger to discipline the child. Mother gets, but mother loves the child. But why are you angry with him? You're angry because of the misbehavior. It has to be corrected. So you don't punish the child. You punish only just to correct the child, to make it child better. So anger is required when it is required. Oh, I love my child, I won't get angry. Then you are a bad parent, that's all. Why? Because a parent has to do properly, otherwise it's not disciplining properly. So therefore, anger is required when angry. That's why when Swamiji gave angry speech to the Harrisburg people, that's what is required at that time. Because we have to inculcate the discipline that is required for the situation also. So therefore, anurupam, here anurupam means accordingly, measurably, what is required only that mind. So you don't lose within anger, you get angry, but anger will not get you. That's what Swamiji said. So you should get angry where anger is required to solve a problem. What is the problem has to be solved, corrected, because he is a teacher. Teacher has to be disciplined, because that's what a disciple is. He submitted himself to discipline. Therefore, that becomes a teacher's responsibility to make sure that he grows. Just like the parent's responsibility to make sure the child grows. That's your parental responsibility. When you take the role of a parent, you have to discipline properly so that the child can grow better. That's why I think Jesus says, they hate the sin, not the sinner. So the sin has to be corrected. Because the sinner is just the same, his own reflection there, right? Reflection of the whole thing is coming in every form. So therefore, raga dvesha bhayadi nam anurupam charanapi. So that's why our scriptures gives you not only the Vedanta, but in the Puranic stories, how exactly Mahatmas behaved. So their behavior becomes our path also. So Raman, Vigraham, Swami Tejamanji is going to talk more about Ramayana. He is Vigrahan Dharmaha. He is very incarnation of Dharma itself. And how much suffering Rama went through. If you look at the Rama's life, he never enjoyed anything, right? And the whole life itself was a misery. But he is Sitapragya, because this is what Rama is being taught here. So how did he become? He's going to tell also if we have time. But that determination, knowing very well all these problems can come. See, dukkeshu anudvignamaha sukeshu vigataspraha. He doesn't get upset about all these things. At the same time, goes through and suffers through like the rest of the people also. Here, anurupam charanapi. Anurupam is also a measurable dose of whatever the emotions required for the situations. He really provides it also. Charanapi. Yontar vyomavaddu yacha. In spite of all that, antar, inside himself as it is, he is swachha swarup, he is a pure by himself. No the negative tendencies that he carries himself with anybody. Okay? Because these things we observe when you are observing the Mahatma, when you come close to the Mahatma and the operation at level, you can see that expressing. This is not only Vedanta, Swamiji used to teach us, not only in the class, but outside, when you are with him, you can see that expression there. How meticulously he works. Those who are with him can know, because every letter that comes to him, he was responding. Every day there used to be at least hundreds of letters. For us, one letter replying, we keep postponing it, right? Important, and we keep procrastinating. But every letter he writes, and he writes very beautifully also. And you should see how he folds the envelope, how he puts everything. That itself is an art. Everything he does methodically and exactly. You should see the beauty of that. When you are with him, you can see all those. And that the very living itself is a Buddha. At the same time, he behaves like a child, he behaves like an adult, he behaves. I don't know if you know the story. We send our child, when our daughter was very small, Swamiji said, okay, because my wife was complaining, she's here anyway. My wife's complaining that we had to send her to India to learn dance. And I was postponing because how can little girl, go all by herself? She was only around 6 years old at the time, 6 or 7. And we didn't want to send our girl and say, okay, you also go there and make sure that she learns authentic teacher before we comes here. And she was, oh, I cannot leave you and go. She said, then how can you do these two things? You have to be here at the same time, the child cannot go. So we were driving Swamiji to Norfolk, Virginia, and my wife was sitting behind and Swamiji was sitting next to me, and some other brahmacharis were also coming with us. So we were taking him for some lectures in Virginia. And because it's a long ride, she says, Swamiji, I have this problem with Sada. I say, what is the problem? So this is what the problem is. So she told the problem. And says, yes, he's right. You cannot leave him. But you are right. It's like a cat on the wall. So you are right, he is right. So what is the solution to the problem? Then he says, yes, the girl has to stay with her mother, but you cannot leave him. So she's going to stay with my mother. What is this? We don't know who is his mother. How is he going to stay with his mother? What is it? All become confusion. And we reach that place. Next day morning, the secretary comes and tells us, you go back to, Swamiji says you have to go back to Washington, make preparation for Kirtana. Kirtana is our daughter. Kirtana to send to India. She is staying in Madras. There's one Nambiar family, and Swamiji calls Leela Nambiar as Amma, so she's going to stay with them. They have a child of that side, so you have to send her immediately. This is of course my wife was start crying, oh, I cannot leave my daughter and all that. That's a separate issue. And we were all traveling around, and we went to Boston to take, because he was still there before we sent to India. And we wanted to see him. We drove to Boston. The Kirtana had a cold. Swamiji had coming from somewhere north. He was also having a cold. And there was one boy came from, I think from Hong Kong. That boy also having a cold. So we were trying to see where Swamiji is there. In Swamiji's room, he was sitting there. There's a big blanket on top of it. And one side, the Kirtana was on side, and the other boy is side, and Swamiji is sitting like three putting a bed sheet on top of it. So what's happening here? So we lifted the blanket. They have one, remember, because they are having a cold. Everybody's having a cold. Swamiji is having a cold, he's having cold, she's having cold. So he put all the three of them, there's a fire, they put sambrani, I don't know what they call it, to breathe in so that your nasal thing becomes clear out. He was like child taking care of the child, and this is my child anymore. If you want another child, that's your problem. So that was the behavior like anybody else was. It was very enjoyable to see how it was. But it's all past history to know what it was. But that's the Mahatma's behavior. We can see how he operates on a day-to-day, where at the same time he was so serious in terms on the stage also. And that is what Raga Dvesha Bhayadinam Anurupam Charannapi. So whereas Antar, inside it is Yomavat, like a space, is immaculately pure, and That is a Jivan Mukta. He's called Jivan Mukta. So if you have reached the stage, you can declare you are a Jivan Mukta also. We'll stop here and then we'll come back to the last session of today and try to finish off this chapter.